Right, the shoe puff. Hello everybody, welcome to another video. I've just been in the shop. Foolishly, I didn't buy this stuff from Owaka when I should have, but I've just bought a bunch of that lightning protective equipment. Simply for the next area we'll be headed into, which has a lot of lightning damage coming our way. So you'll notice everyone in my party now has either lightning ward, which is what I just bought from the shop. Waka had this lightning proof thing from a while ago, which is fantastic. We get to keep a hold of. His gear is just phenomenal right now. He's immune to most of the damage in the next area, and he does all the petrify stuff. He's great. Waka tends to be amazing in my playthroughs just because of the gear you can end up getting for him. So Kamaru already had this red armlet which had lightning ward on it already, so we didn't have to buy one. I didn't get one for Titus. I'm running a little bit low on cash. And then there's one for Yuna there as well. So we've got 4,000 gil. I quite enjoy this because I explained early on in the LP to you guys, it's easy in this game to just end up getting tons and tons of money while you're playing through and gil is no object. So it's nice to be able to go to each merchant and actually buy something. Not that I've done that on this LP, but most merchants, you know, there's been something interesting and hopefully I've managed to point out what it is, even if I didn't buy it myself. Anyway, so we're done in guadosalam. And today we are moving on into the Thunder Plains, which is a very cool area actually. It's got some great music here. You know how the HD remake has remastered all the music in the area? So there's lightning, I'll talk about that in a second. Has remastered all the music in the game. Well, the stuff that appears in Thunder Plains isn't actually a new track. So here's an example of some of the new enemies in the area, by the way. You'll notice Riku's already got her Overdrive back. She still only has 360 health. I desperately need to use the sphere grid in a second. We'll bring Lulu in. Many of the enemies in this area are weak to... Oh, well, they cast lightning stuff, so they're probably weak to water. Let's have a look. 1.5 times damage on water on him, and him. So... we'll bring Lulu in, we'll have Kamari in, that means we've got plenty of elemental damage to go around, and we'll see what we can do. Now, Lulu's obviously outpacing Kamari right now because she has stronger black magic, but hopefully he'll pick up soon enough. Now, the lava, who we just attacked, those enemies actually, they're quite resistant anyway, so it's going to take a few hits. At least Waka, whether he petrifies or not, is going to be able to score kills. And Kamari should be able to score kills on this thing here too, which is quite squishy. I actually did a very small recording of this just a second ago where we got ambushed and people just started dying instantly, which is what made me think, maybe I should go buy the lightning resistant stuff. And so here we are. Oh, I've got to show you guys the Fatal Kate Sith as well now, actually. So we'll attack him physically. There's the petrify and we're done. You know, most of the time, Waka is just going to be outperforming everyone. But yeah, so the music that you can hear here, it is different to the original music that was in the game. I've liked both versions, but what you'll find actually is they didn't recompose this track for this release of the game. What they did was just sometime after Final Fantasy X initially came out, they released a piano mix of some of their favorite tracks on the soundtrack, and literally for the HD remake they've just plucked some of those and dumped them directly into Final Fantasy X, and I believe this is one of the tracks. So it's new for the game, but it's, you know, if you bought that piano mix, which you probably didn't, but if you did, then you will have heard this before at some point. Anyway, here's another encounter. You'll notice we've got another yellow elemental here. We've got a one eye, which we may as well attack, like so. I love petrifying the flyers, just the way that they stop and then they fall to the ground and shatter. It's fantastic. You'll notice that enemies are now casting tier 2 black magic on us. That was a Thundara. And look, it's doing barely any damage to my guys. This is how important it is to gear yourself out and make sure you're using the right stuff. So there's a water spell on him. Now, instead of casting black magic on this thing with Lulu, let's go for a Fatal Kate Sith attack. This one is a Moomba, and there you go. You see how it died? There was no numbers, anything like that came up. It just died instantly. That's what we're talking about with these kinds of things. So there you go. And I believe that's a new model for Lulu as well, a Moomba. Wait, that's not a Moomba. What is that? I think it's just another type of Moogle. Oh, no. That's Kate Sith. Oh, I'm so foolish. Right, so Kate Sith, okay, is a recurring character in many Final Fantasy games. It's a small black cat. Now, in Final Fantasy VII, it was a very prominent character. It was actually a member of your party in Final Fantasy VII. A lot of people mistake that, though. In Final Fantasy VII, there was Kate Sith in your party, but basically it was a small black cat that was riding on a giant white Moogle. So a Moogle being one Lulu's default weapon. So when you see that character in Final Fantasy VII, I'm pretty much the same. I used to think to myself, oh look, this Moogle is this giant white thing is clearly Kate Sith, but Kate Sith was always just a small black cat riding it, and controlling it, or sort of as a vehicle. And Kate Sith has appeared in many of the games. It's always like a black cat, and there you go, that's what Lulu's new weapon here, Fatal Kate Sith, is actually a reference to. Sweet, so I'm glad I realised that for a second. So we're getting struck by lightning. What do we do about this? To recap, there was a tutorial at the end of the last episode. Lightning strikes when you're not stood near towers. Your screen flashes white, and if you can press X quick enough while the screen flashes white, you'll dodge it. Now, I'm going to look terrible at the game here because I'm doing commentary and it's so hard to have the reflexes where you're focusing on other things. So don't expect me to dodge many. If you get hit many times in a row, for the record, you can actually get rewarded. Like, you get an ether and then like a turbo ether. So that's pretty cool, I will say. What are the lizards weak to here? I would guess water as well, but it's probably not so simple. They usually have different weaknesses. So there you go. Blizzard is what they're weak to, so we'll move that back in. So yeah, there are actually rewards for getting hit multiple times in a row, but more importantly, there are rewards for dodging many in a row. One of the things Final Fantasy X is notorious for. Oh, really? It survived? Alright, we'll go for another Fatal Kate Sith kill here. Oh, no, he resists. So it's only 50-50 whether the death hits, just like with Petrify. We're taking extra damage here. Should we bring Auron in, give him a little bit of experience? There's not many people who've actually had a chance yet. There we go. So Final Fantasy X is notorious for having, when you get to the end game, really ridiculous like mini games and things to complete. So if you want all the best weapons, all the final stuff in the game, you actually have to come here to the Thunder Plains and get the max reward for dodging lightning in a row. If you attempt to save in between dodges, it resets the counter to 0. How many dodges do you need, you may be asking? 200 in a row. Now, lightning does not strike with any regularity, and I don't know what the exact timing is. It feels like you've got like half a second, maybe less, to actually catch something in time, so it's really hard to do. That said, I have done it for the LP. We've got a save file with it complete, and I'll show you guys some tricks as we go. Another thing with the Thunder Plains is what I just did there. Get hit by lightning. These are Cactuar stones. Cactuars, again, are recurring enemies in the Final Fantasy series. We already had a weapon for Lulu that looked just like one. However, in Final Fantasy X, I think this is the first game that they did this. In FF10, they introduced 2 varieties of Cactuars. There is Cactuar, spelt like thus, and then there is Cactuar, spelt like thus. And so what we find in this area are these Cactuars, the ones with the Q. Now, there is almost no physical difference between those Cactuars, except one of them's got a very different, like, shaped mouth. But basically, what's going on here is, I told you guys this story already. We'll get a little bit more elaboration on it in the inn. But basically, one of the previous High Summoners, Cactuars with the Q, used to run all around the world in Jose. He rounded them all up and he hid them here in the Thunder Plains in these stones. So if you go up to the stones while they're glowing and they turn on and off randomly as you're wandering around, so you want to take your opportunities quickly. If you run around grabbing them, I'm going to bring Lulu in here. We're just going to go for an instant kill on this guy. If you run around grabbing those Cactuar stones, you actually re-release the fiends into the world. And by releasing them into the world, you open up the potential for them to appear in random encounters for you. I'm going to grab a couple of ability spheres here too. You open up the option for them to appear in random encounters. So now that we've prayed at 1, there is a chance we will get a random encounter with a Cactuar in it. If we pray at 2 stones, we may get a random encounter with 2 Cactuars. If we pray at... So there you go. Whacker is immune to lightning here. It's just fantastic. I should have cast Black Magic with Kamari there. I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll go with a Waterer there, and that should finish him off. So that's sort of the way that this works. And again, just like dodging 200 lightning is required to get some of the endgame stuff, you'll notice that the elementals, by the way, are immune to Petrify. So there's some stuff that Whacker certainly can't deal with. But just like dodging 200 lightning as a thing for endgame, praying at all of these stones and releasing all the Cactuars is something also. Anyway, I've really jumped the gun with that. Here's Macon. Let's just have a bit of a chat.
Well, hello there. Would you like to hear about this place?
Absolutely. Sure.
Very well. Let me tell you about the crossing. A long time ago, this place was a traveler's nightmare. Plains of lightning, plains of thunder. Those who cross are torn asunder. Or so they used to say. Then a man by the name of Bilgen appeared. Using machina, he built towers that served as lightning rods across the plains. Finally, travelers were able to cross in safety. Bilgen was building that tower over there when he was struck and killed by lightning.
That just somehow... So that's a pretty tragic story. Let's see what else he has to say.
Bilgen was an Al-Bed. Our history books never mention him.
Yeah, that seems kind of sad.
Take care and farewell.
Where are you headed, Macon?
Take care.
He doesn't really tell us. So I don't know how, but that sort of reminded me of something I wanted to mention last episode. Well, two things, really. Number one, you know how the Brotherhood just got powered up for us? And so many of these enemies are weak to water? Well, the Brotherhood just got Water Strike on it. So that's a really good example of how the game has, like, prepared us for this area in a nice way. Sad thing about it is, though, Tidus really only attacks the lizards here, and they're weak to blizzard, not water. So it kind of, I don't know, unless you're trying to do a little bit of extra damage to finish off, say, a lava or something, it really doesn't mean that much. And the other thing that, I don't know how, but Macon just reminded me of, there's something I've been wanting to mention, because someone left a comment about it way back on the Mihen High Road. Let's try and go for a Petrify kill here. There we go. And then we will go for a water kill here. Kamari sort of let me down a little bit. I guess I'll use the sphere grid when we get to the inn. That seems pretty appropriate. And then we'll go with another water there. But yeah, back on the Mihen High Road, I told you guys that you could get the Mars Crest on the old road where you would fall off if the Chocobo Eater had pushed you off. Someone left a comment saying, oh wait, I got the Jupiter Crest there. That's actually a bug with the very original version of the American release of the game. There was basically a translation bug that made it pop up that you got the Mars Crest when you actually got the Jupiter Crest, and you got the Jupiter Crest when you got the Mars Crest. Now, mechanically, nothing had changed, so even though that person said, oh, I got the Jupiter Crest, you actually still got the Mars Crest, it's just labelled wrong. So, yeah, kind of a weird thing about... I love in this game as well, if someone's immune to an element, I feel like they get targeted a lot more than they should. It's kind of weird. So yeah, that was something I've been wanting to mention over a couple of episodes, and there you go. Somehow Macon just reminded me. The other thing I wanted to continue doing was scanning my own dudes, actually. So what if we bring Rikku in, we pass her turn, make her defend. Rikku, by the way, is a very quick character. That's like one of her perks. Really squishy, but really quick. You'll notice how she was defending there, and she has lightning protection, and she still, like, almost died from it. Anyway, so here, we'll go with a nice little scan on Rikku. I've had a kind of weird that scans white magic. I've been reading my, I've got, like, the collector's edition hardback guide to Final Fantasy 12, and I was just reading it out of curiosity yesterday. That game is immense, and it's really weird how in that game they categorize all the magics differently. Like, protect, and you haven't seen it. Oh, you haven't seen either. Like, defensive magics, okay? They're not actually, in this game they're white magic, but in that game they're like green magic. It's all cool. Anyway, so here's Rikku, an Al-Bed girl trying hard to protect Yuna. She makes up for her weak attacks with her superior speed. Her fear of lightning is just a phobia. She affectionately calls Yuna Uni as a nickname. I don't believe we've heard her say that yet, but it sort of shows maybe those two have a bit of prior history. Right, so let's actually give Rikku a turn. I remember when I was younger, actually, wow, that's really weird, because I was just telling you guys about defensive magics, and we just stole an item that allows us to cast them with Rikku. I remember anyway, when I was younger, like, one of the things a lot of people swore you had to do as soon as you got Rikku was you had to steal with her every single fight. It was inefficient unless you were stealing from every single enemy, as if like the goal of the game or a necessity to get through the game was to get 99 of all the items or some crap. Anyway, here's Shalinda.
Good day.
Hi there.
Is it true? I heard that Maester Seymour and Lady Yuna are to be wed. It's such great news. I have to tell everyone.
Where'd you hear that?
From the Guado. They were all very excited.
I'm afraid you heard a little wrong. Yuna's gonna turn him down.
Oh, really?
So they give us something kind of weird here. I find it funny that the Guado are already spreading it, but obviously it's good news and they want to share it to people. Yeah, so Yuna, it's weird this part of the story. She never actually said anything to us, did she? She said, I've made my decision. She went inside. She got something from Jiskel and there's like some weirdness there, but We don't know what her decision was. It seemed like she was gonna turn him down, I guess. So we get to say just kidding or no wedding. Really, there's no easy way out here. If you say just kidding, she's gonna berate you for being an asshole and telling a bad joke. If you say yep, no wedding, then she's gonna be disappointed. So I'm just gonna say yeah, no wedding.
I see. That's unfortunate. Well, I'm sure that people would have rejoiced all over Spira.
Oh well.
Please give Lady Yuna my best regards.
She can't marry him. She's supposed to be in love with me.
Please, go ahead. Oh,
Wait.
please, go
I want you
ahead.
to heal me like you used to heal me. I'm in well, I'm not really in massive need of it. So I've been missing a few things in this area. One thing I'd love to show you guys. Lightning dodging. This is so hard. I remember, again, when I was younger, sat there on the edge of the bed, staring at the screen. It's like 30 minutes solid worth of effort, right? It's really hard to do the lightning dodging. I tried it again this time while I was playing through the game, and I just couldn't do it. So I did some Googling, yay to the internet, and I found a trick you can do. Now, number one, the random encounters really throw things off if you're trying to dodge a lot of lightning. So you may want to wait until basically the end of the game where you can get equipment that stops all the encounters from showing up, which is crazy strong if you really think about it. Really, really cool. And that allows you to just dodge the lightning in peace. It means you're not going to get a random encounter, finish the encounter exactly as a lightning strikes, and then you've got no time at all. And just, it removes sort of some of the luck from it. But there are good rewards. Yes, the 200 in a row is for like the final weapon thing, which isn't going to be any use to you right now anyway, even if you were to get it. But the stuff before is really good. There's like loads of HP spheres and strength spheres, a lot of really powerful stuff that can help your characters out a lot. So if you want to get lightning dodges early, maybe 50 to 100, this is where you do it. There's a great trick, right? You stand near the tower with Shalinda, you walk towards this thing here. Lightning will strike, you dodge, you walk a tiny bit back towards the tower. You may get a random encounter. I'll cut this. We've already seen us fighting these. Alright, there we go. I might leave a tiny bit of footage in there of me actually throwing a bomb at an enemy, just using the regular command. So a bomb is like a powerful grenade. Anyway, you walk towards the tower, then back, and every time you come towards this crater, you can predict the lightning. I don't know whether it's intended by the devs, whether it's a bug in their code or what, but I'm gonna take advantage of it, or at least I did when I was doing my 200 dodges. So that's totally viable here. In my original plans for the series, I was actually going to stick it about here and grind there for a while, but I'm not going to bother with that. So here, look, now that Tidus has got the Brotherhood, right, we can attack this enemy. Okay, so he managed to get the kill, but those enemies are actually resistant to magic, so they're not like completely resistant to that element. They're not resistant to water necessarily, but they are resistant to magic. You'll notice that Waka didn't even score that kill there. I desperately need to go to the... Shall we lance it, this thing? There are going to be more lanceable enemies soon, by the way. But yeah, they're not resistant to water in particular, but I think that resistance to magic does mean that Tidus like does a bit less damage than he otherwise could be. I'm going to refuse having Tidus out too much in this zone just because he doesn't have the lightning protection. But yeah, we'll throw a Wartara over here. And that didn't even kill it, so everyone's quite underpowered. I don't know whether I'm excited or scared. I'm just thinking about the really hard bosses in the game that I completely cheesed and destroyed on my test file, and how I might have a more fun experience on them now. But the random encounters, it's going to suck when I get like a game over in a totally random area. And it like, maybe it's even a battle that I wanted to cut, and it's just not going to be entertaining or anything. Anyway, over here you'll notice a little rivet coming off. This has a second cactus stone. Looks like I got lucky and this one was glowing as I came to it. And also, obviously, a chest. This is also the location of another trick. Back before people knew about, like, that crater one I was just doing, people would recommend, and this is what my piggyback guide recommends, that you stand here, because you're nowhere near any lightning towers. And by standing here, there's no moving involved. So there is no chance you'll get any random encounters. So this is maybe one of your better ways of getting all the lightning dodges. without having without access to no encounters. I'm talking, so I'm missing it a lot, but basically the other methods, like the crater one, or if you're just trying to do it randomly, you're going to keep getting knocked back until eventually maybe you're near a tower or something that you don't want. That happened exactly when I blinked. I didn't even notice the white flash. So that's a good option for you as well. There's a water ball for Whacker, which of course is useful here in this zone because they're all weak to water. So yeah, those are kind of your options. If you do it enough, as I say, you can get a lot of really good spheres for the sphere grid. Nice other things. There you go. Let's just have Whacker kill this. Whacker's getting a lot of training. He learned a new Overdrive mode there called Slayer. I really need to talk you guys through that stuff. So we'll do that in just a moment. What's great about Fatal Kate Sith on these enemies is number one, Lulu couldn't one-shot them anyway. And number two, they're not evasive at all. And so you may as well roll the dice on it, especially when you've got two characters who can go for instant kills. If you actually get these enemies low, they will do something where they cast Thunder on themselves, which they absorb, which heals them. But they also have the added benefit that when it heals them, it boosts their magic strength. And it says Lava's power has been increased. So that's kind of a fun side effect of them. Alright, so let's have a look at some new Overdrive modes. Now, we're still at a point in this series where we've barely been getting any Overdrives. The default mode is Stoic. I believe I showed you guys this screen already, right? So I won't go into it too long, but this means they only charge their Overdrive when they take damage. Well, what about all those encounters where they open up and you just one-shot all of them and then there's no chance for them to even hit you? Or what if you don't want to roll the dice every single time? There's only a 1 in 3 chance an enemy's actually going to target you. Not all of them have AoEs. In fact, have we seen any AoEs that weren't in a boss fight this entire game so far? Maybe we've seen some. So, a much better Overdrive mode is Slayer. Now, you only unlock this once a player has scored a certain number of kills on mobs. And for every character, there is a different value. So, for Auron, for example, because of his role as a powerful guardian or whatever, it doesn't take him long to get Slayer. There's another Overdrive mode called, what's it called? It's called, like, Fleer. But basically, it's an Overdrive mode that charges your Overdrive Gorge only when you flee from battles, okay? It's like one of the hardest ones to get because you have to flee from like literally thousands of battles to get it. But the more quick kind of wily characters, to pilfer a term there, they'll unlock it quicker. But to get Auron, the Fleer mode, takes ages. It's actually a really kind of a fun thing. So anyway, Slayer is absolutely better for Whacker, so we may as well put that on. Tidus unlocked Warrior, which charges when a character damages an enemy. So damages versus kills someone, right? Lulu and Comrade, which is instead of when she takes damage, it's when an ally takes damage. And so this is, even though like the percent that it charges is going to be different for each mode, this is still probably better because she's got a higher chance an ally is going to take damage than her alone. And if the party gets hit by AoE, it's going to charge twice as much. So Comrade, and there you go. Some people haven't unlocked anything because they haven't been with us for very long. But yeah, that's basically the cut of it. So we'll heal up and get out of this little nook here. And I guess we'll just keep on moving up the Thunder Plains. You notice the towers are a little bit dilapidated. Here you go, here's a Cactuar. It ran away straight away, that's amazing. So they're very quick characters, and because I haven't used the sphere grid, we're not quick enough to keep pace with them, and usually if they get a turn, then they'll just run off. They're also really defensive in many ways. They have an attack called 1000 Needles, which is just brutal. It does 1000 damage and like ignores all defense. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, the towers are a bit dilapidated. In the sequel, there are several new things to do here. Rikku, actually, as an Albed, I'm just going to flee here. She can try and recalibrate the machines. And it's this really fun minigame, actually, that I remember enjoying a lot and actually gets really difficult. X2's got a lot of great minigames in it, really, really fun. So anyway, you can help sort of repair them a bit.
Whoa! Whoa! That was a close one.
Stop kidding around.
Yes, ma'am. What's wrong?
You're giving me the creeps.
This is a weird scene where she crawls like a spider. I love it.
Hey, whoa!
I want to go home.
I hate lightning. I hate thunder. Let's go rest over there, please.
This storm never stops. Better to cross quickly.
I know, but just for a little while.
Well, what now?
See, here's another reason I think Rikku just isn't handled well with her introduction. It's abrupt.
Pretty
Oh,
please. Just a few minutes.
so here's great. You actually get to make the choice, sort of.
I'm scared of lightning. Let's rest, please. Pretty please.
If you walk in, they all go with you.
I'm too young to die.
But I like just waiting because Auron... Okay, Auron's like the tough guy, okay? And he's saying, alright, we have to go. Now, this is an illusion of choice. You're meant to take pity on Rikku and just go inside. But if you wait long enough, eventually Auron is the one that cracks.
You're mean. Cruel. Your moms would be ashamed of you.
And this, of course, is affection mechanics too.
Are you having fun doing this to me?
Fine. We rest. She's worse than the storm.
Yeah, so if you're going quick, then Rikku likes you more. If you wait, then Auron likes you more. But yeah, this is why I think Rikku isn't handled well. They're probably going to keep talking. I'll hold my thoughts for a second.
A little tired. Do you have a room available? Ah, Lady Summoner. Yes, just over that way. Thank you.
Yuna?
It's not like her.
And she just heads on up. So yeah, right? Okay, Rikku, she joins very abruptly. We have her in guadosalam and she's all pally and stuff, right? And then instantly we're in an area where the character doesn't like lightning and it makes her a bit unlikable, you know? She's like, she acts like such, I guess she is sort of meant to be a bit of a kid, but she, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. It's kind of weird. I feel like there should have been more time to get to know her and like her before they start introducing her flaws, but maybe that's just me. Alright, so anyway, this is another one of Rin's travel agencies. We haven't seen one of these since the Mihen High Road. Throughout this series, I've kept calling the Mihen High Road the Calmlands, and I've kept trying to like cut it out. The Calmlands is somewhere we'll hit later on, so I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, I'm going to use the sphere grid, take this opportunity to rest. I'll see you guys in just a second when we've all progressed. Look at how many whackers got. It's because I'm using them so much. Alright. So here's something to talk about the sphere grid. One little thought I just had. Rikku, despite the fact her stats are low, one other cool thing that's balanced about her is when you throw an item, items don't use your stats. So if I throw a grenade, it's always going to do the same amount of damage. It doesn't look at my strength or anything. And so that's why she can get away with starting with lower stats than other people. The other thing is Yuna is now sat by a level 2 lock. Behind this is a strength sphere, max strength, and also some health. Now, Yuna doesn't really physically attack, so I don't care about the strength. The health I can go without as well, so I'm going to move her along. But the fact we're now by a level 2 lock shows that we are looking at a place in the story relatively shortly where we will be getting a level 2 key sphere. It won't be in this episode, but probably in this session that I'm recording right now. So that's something to consider. Do you want to start holding your people back at this point on the sphere grid to wait for level 2 locks as they come by or not? Same as when we had the level 1 locks appearing. Alright, so with that done, we're now up to 14,000 gil again. I was on very little when we started. So you'll notice on the desk straight away is an Albed Primer. Oh wait, no, this is an Albed Primer. It uses the same skin. I think there is one in here. But yeah, so this says there's an original copy of A History of Summoners, Thunderplains edition. So let's have a read. It says, long ago, fiends known as Cactuars roamed the Jose continent freely. They ran rampant, ravaging fields and tormenting travelers. Then Lord Gandalf appeared, a man later to become a high summoner. He scoured the continent for the Cactuars and drove them to these plains. Once he'd gathered the Cactuars together, Lord Gandalf linked the sign of square, whereupon the Cactuars turned to smoke and were absorbed by stone. I love the idea that square is somehow a sign. I guess that's just, hey, this is the pray button. The Cactuars were thus sealed into stone, fated to face lightning day and night. Until someone again links the square sign and releases the seal, they shall suffer within the stone for their deeds. Thus did Lord Gandalf bring relief to the peoples all over Spira. He believed that the battle with sin was only one part of a summoner's greater mission, which it would be to help people, I would guess. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Something funny about this game. People tend to love Cactuars. I'd say they're one of the more fun things about the Final Fantasy series. In this game, they introduced the Cactuars who you like free, who were imprisoned, and the regular Cactuars. There's another mini game where you annihilate them and wipe out their race. You don't fully do it, as is revealed in the sequel, but it's kind of funny how one of them you're like freeing and the other one that you're like banishing in a certain way or damaging. So that's kind of fun. We'll talk about that more later though. But yeah, so that's that. I'm sure there's a primer somewhere. Oh, I think we get it. I think Rin appears somewhere in a second, so we'll watch out for that.
It's not easy being a guardian to a summoner so young.
Okay. I mean, I guess Braska was a lot older.
Yuna resting. Go away.
Dude, why are you being so mean?
Kemari said go away. Kemari.
Oh, if he's got double dialogue, I feel like Oren must too.
This is going to be some journey.
It's already been some journey, jeez.
This is going to be...
I read a comment from some guy who was like, so, I don't know, in maybe an hour to 2 hours time, he was like, oh, you're probably like a quarter of the way through the game there. Like, someone was asking how far in the game now. That's complete BS. We're well over a quarter of the game at this point, guys. We're like a third at least of the way through. If you really consider, I think people tend to underappreciate on Final Fantasy X how long some of the early stuff is. Like, you spend a long time in Besaid. Now, your timeline or thinking of that in retrospect is just, oh, we were in Besaid for a little bit, then Kilika for a little bit, then Luca for a little bit. But you're actually in Besaid for ages. And if you think about all the preamble stuff before that as well, we're a good chunk done. Hey, Riki.
Are you that scared?
When I was little, a fiend attacked me while I was swimming at the beach. My brother tried to beat it back with a spell. But he missed and hit me instead. It was a thunder spell.
Ouch.
I've been scared of lightning ever since.
But it can be effective. Magic is effective against marine fiends.
My brother said that too.
Way to be tactful,
You
Lulu.
should learn some spells too. Maybe later.
Nice to see you again. Welcome to the Rin Travel Agency. Oh.
Oh, hey, Rin. Ah, and they recognize each other. I caught that. They recognize each other. So this is, the second time now we've heard about Riku's brother? Funny thing about this game, okay? Her brother's name is Brother. And that's not like a translation thing. That's just his name, Brother. Like, as simple as that. It's really weird, but yeah.
I've been scared of light.
Okay.
Yuna looked preoccupied.
Yes, she did.
Was it because of Jiskel?
Maybe.
Don't tell Riku, but we leave as soon as Yuna's better.
Yeah, we're not waiting for Riku's benefit. We're waiting for Yuna's. Hey, Waka.
I wonder what's wrong with Yuna. No point asking. Mood she's in.
Well, she should let us know. Anyway, so here's the primer. Speak to Rin.
How goes your study of our language?
Very good, thank you. Now, if you say no good, you gimp yourself out of a primer. Maybe permanently. Most primers in this game that you miss, they will appear somewhere else later on, but there are some that are permanently missable, like 3 of them are permanently missable, I think. So, respond positively. Say, okay.
That is good to hear. Allow me to present you with this book for your study.
See, I think that's kind of weird, because logically, you might think that by saying to him, oh, you know, I'm really struggling learning the language, he'll be like, hey, this will help you out. And if you say, oh, no, I'm learning it really well, then he'll say, oh, good job on you, keep at it, you know, and not give you anything. But yeah, you have to respond positively. It's one of those lame things. So there you go, that's primer 14. H is equal to N.
I wonder, would that be Sir Orin by any chance?
So Oren, he's always been quiet on his own, right? So what do you want to say? Now, if you say no, it raises his affection for you. He likes you a bit more. If you say, yeah, that's him, I actually don't remember what happened. In my test file, I said no, and Rin basically says, oh, sorry about that. And Oren doesn't respond at all. So I'm actually going to say, yeah, that's him.
Ah, as I thought. I've been wondering since I saw him at the Mihen High Road branch. Sir Orin, I wonder if you remember me. 10 years ago, at the beginning of Lord Braska's calm.
Yes, I should thank you.
Not at all. I could not leave a wounded man to die. However, I was surprised when I saw you gone the next morning with that wound. An ordinary man would not have been able to walk.
I'd rather drop that subject, Rin.
As you wish.
Wow, I totally forgot about that. That's cool. That is a cool little chat that they have there. You hear so many like little tidbits about their previous pilgrimage. It's amazing. It's like I was saying before, like release games, like I was saying with the Blitzball exclusive game. What if they, and so many people have said this kind of thing, but like what if they did like a 10-1 or whatever, and it's their adventure. In Final Fantasy VIII, there is another, it's very similar to the story, right? You're going through your thing with all your people, but you also keep getting flashbacks to a group of 3 other men in the past. I believe one of them is like meant to be your father. I don't think that's a spoiler either. But you keep flashing back to these guys like 10 years ago or whatever it is in that game. And I love the idea of being able to do that here. I'd love to see Jecht, Auron, and Braska's adventure. You know, witness firsthand Jecht slashing the shoe path and witness all the like political stuff that was going on there as well. This is probably just about the time that Jiskel had married and the Guado were coming into the fold, so there was stuff going on there. I think that'd be so cool. But yeah, alright.
Maester Seymour and his entourage passed by a while ago. And the Maester is to be married soon?
Excuse me, where did you hear that?
The Guado are telling everyone.
Oh, they are they?
Very presumptuous.
Welcome to Rin's.
Hey, thanks, man. All that dialogue, and then finally he opens up his merchant. You'll notice one new thing is added to the regular list of wares. This is a grenade. So, let's buy a couple. Why not? Here you go. Thank you, Rin. We'll go speak to Auron.
This is going.
And he doesn't change his dialogue at all. Alright, so now we're going to move on. Actually, I'm going to quickly save it, but you'll notice over there on the right of the travel agency is a big open door. I've talked about this when we were swimming around in that extra area in Besaid that you can never go back to. This is another one of those big moments for me. It's like, so much of Final Fantasy X is open to you to re-explore, but I always like those special little areas you can go to only once in the plot, and most travel agencies are just like a desk in this one small room, but this one you get to actually go up to where people are sleeping, and this is really cool. I just love being able to walk up here and see these rooms, even though you can never go back to them, and that, you know, in a way makes it kind of special to me. But let's see what Yuna's up to. Like, just this whole room.
What?
As punishment for my deeds. Whoever what and his mother whoever as punishment for my deeds.
Whoa! Oi!
Yes?
I implore
Ow! Well, it's nothing really. I just, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come in. Hey! Wasn't that Jiskel Guado guy?
The sphere is his will. It says, take care of my son.
Huh. His son, Seymour? Well, I know one way to take care of him.
I'm sorry.
What's he saying?
Huh?
What's he saying there? I can just imagine him raising and lowering his eyebrows, like staring at her. Oh my god. Oh god, Waka.
What do you think you're up to?
Yuna was acting funny.
Yeah. She'll tell us when she's ready, so hold your chocobos till then. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I love seeing him being boisterous. It's been too long. I would do very good sound effects. So there you go, now the door's shut and we can never go back up there. It's kind of sad, right? Anyway, good morning. Or good storming.
Whatever happens, we're still Yuna's guardians.
Yeah, but...
I know how you feel. Let's give Rikku a kick in the butt and go, huh? Let's give Rikku a
Alright, sure, okay. Lulu?
We're not through the Thunder Plains yet, so be prepared, all right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Did you two have a fight?
No, we didn't fight. Wait, who two? I guess Yuna did run away from us. If this was real life, I'd probably be very embarrassed about what happened there. But okay. So on this desk, you'll notice there's now a new book. It looks like it's sort of protruding from Kamari's chest. But it's there. It also looks like an Albed primer, and it's also not an Albed primer. This is the Bilgen Memorial Travel Agency. There is a copy of All About Lightning. If you read this, it gives you your stats on the lightning that you've done. So 18 bolts have struck towards me. I've dodged 5, 3 consecutive in commemoration of the record. They're going to present me with a memento, so yay. You know how I tell you guys that some people are insane for perfect files? I've read someone who was like, yeah, I'm going to try and do a perfect file of Final Fantasy X, and that includes never getting hit by lightning. The first 200 bolts that hit me, I'm going to dodge all of them. Like, it's just, it's mental. It really is. But some people, you know, they fall in love with the game and they just find ways to make their own fun, I suppose. And I can't critique people for that. That's something that I very much believe in. So anyway, that's something kind of fun. I think that person was saying something like he'd actually managed to play enough Blitzball or do some weird farm thing or whatever to actually be able to give himself no encounters this early. You'd be surprised how early you can do stuff just through Blitzball because of the tournament rewards. Even though 99% of them are crappy and it would take you like thousands of hours. Anyway, Kamari? I think he just shook his head at us. And that's weird, because usually when you interact with someone and they just emote, you're locked in place and you can't move until the emote's over. But this one, I'm allowed to move as I like. That's kind of weird. Alright, so hey, Oren. I like how with Kamari, let's see what weapons they got. I like how with Kamari, that even though he starts talking, he's still very quiet and distant. You know, it's not like, oh, hey guys, I'm Kamari. I'm going to keep talking to you about everything. They keep him like in character. So anyway, basic stuff. Here you'll find some lightning ward stuff that also has HP plus 5% on it, which is a small boon over the stuff you could buy in Guadosalam, but it requires you to go halfway through the Thunder Plains before you realize you want it. It's a bit cheaper than what you could get in the Thunder Plains too, so consider that. Oren?
She's not going to move unless we do something.
Oh, you talking about Rikku?
She's not going to...
Sure. Hey, Yuna.
If it's okay with Rikku, shall we go?
Absolutely, it's your pilgrimage.
If it's okay with...
Alright, okay, so.
It's not stopping, is it?
Don't tell me you were hoping it would.
Ah, come on, don't be so stupid, Rikku.
Fine, stay here.
Alright already.
No sympathy, I'm sorry.
You didn't have to say it like that, you know. You could be more comforting or something. You just don't get me at all, do you?
It skipped some dialogue
Hey,
there.
are you listening?
It was going to say, or at least try and cheer me up, but it skipped it. I didn't press A.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared, you hear?
By the way, that's Timmy Turner from The Fairly Odd Parents, and that's also Scarlett from Guild Wars 2, the voice actress for Rikku. Among many other things, I assure you.